including teleconferencing and meeting rooms. And of course, because it is within PTRI, you can get access to our textile experts, the facilities that we have, and the services. And you can also make use of this place for conduct of exhibition, workshop space for various events that you would like to conduct. So this is just some of the photos of the gallery. And then we also have a mechanism of what we call as the technology business incubation. This is for startups and or aspiring entrepreneurs who are into textile tech based or technology based businesses. You can test the business feasibility, the viability of your business proposition or your business model through this mechanism. So we can teach you, you can get access to the textile fiber processing facilities. Again, the experts, the technical services that we offer. And if you have, if you need assistance when it comes to intellectual property application or business development related assistance, then we can also help you with that. And of course, I think the most important thing is the linkage to the industry partners. So how to enroll in the Innovation Hub and the TBI? Again, you can send the letter of request and send it to ptri.tips@ptri.dost.gov.ph. Lastly, I'd like to share with you the mechanism on technology transfer. This is basically what we do in our unit. One of our major functions is to conduct the technology transfer through commercialization or licensing. So earlier, Director Celia Elumba presented the technologies when it comes to natural textiles. So one of which would be the natural fiber pretreatment technology. This is applicable for several natural fibers like abaca, banana, pineapple, bamboo, and the like. So basically, we will teach you, once you license the technology, you will be trained to do the conversion from the extraction to a plant material up to converting it into a spinnable form. So that's the know-how that we license out. By the way, we have a patent registered. This is a patent registered technology. And of course, kalakip nun are also machine designs that are developed by PTRI. So if you're a fabricator and you want to sell these machines, these are the degumming machines, these are fiber openers, and so on. So we can also license you the machine designs. Of course, if you want to expand or rather make an integrated business, then you cannot just stop at the fiber, pretreated fiber. You can even go to yarn production, to fabric production, and even to the non-woven. So later on, you will be given an overview of that. So if you want to avail of these technologies through a commercialization route or licensing route, or for any inquiries, if you have in mind a business model that you see will fit in the natural textiles processing or production, please email us at ptri.techtransfer@gmail.com. So I think we are done with the house, and I just like to end with the why. So basically, DOST-PTRI is aligned to the 0+10-point socioeconomic agenda of the current administration, wherein we want to promote science, technology, and the creative arts to enhance the innovation and creative capacity towards sustaining inclusive development. And Director already mentioned earlier that we hope that what we do goes beyond the project, goes beyond us in the DOST-PTRI. And of course, the ultimate goal or the ultimate why for us is for a self-sustaining and inclusive socioeconomic growth until we have generated an impact to our stakeholders, from the farmers to the processors to the handloom weavers to the dyers up to the entrepreneurs. Then that would be something that would already say that we are doing our best in PTRI. So thank you very much. Again, if you have a question, you can also email me. My email address is on the screen. Thank you, everyone.
those watching us today are feeling really encouraged knowing that you have all the systems in place that are available for the public. I think we have some questions from our live audience in Zoom. Miss Bang, the question is, what are the available ways to consult with PTRI during this pandemic? Do you accept walk-ins? And if we need to see and feel how the fabrics look like, what are the options?
Thank you for that question, Jel. Of course, we are still under quarantine. Taguig is still under GCQ. But of course, we can entertain you through email. We can even set up a meeting, an online meeting with you. If you want to have a discussion about what I have explained earlier. And then I understand that really if you want to buy textiles, you have to feel it eh. Hindi pwede na nakita mo lang yung picture. In as much as we take good photos and upload it, iba pa din yung nafe-feel. So we understand that sentiment, we understand that interest. That's why we allocate several days, I think 2 days of the week, that is Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1:30 onwards until 5 p.m. So if you want to visit us to check our products, particularly the ready-to-buy products, then you can schedule a visit to us, and then we will confirm if we will be available on that.
All right. Thank you, Miss Bang. Next question is, how can we avail of the weaving training courses? Can this be conducted virtually?
So earlier I have shared that we conducted the webinar on basic textile technology, and we cover there the basics of weaving. So weaving kasi is a skill. Actually, it's already recognized. The handloom weaving is already recognized nationally. This is through the help of TESDA. So it's already a national certificate 2 skill. So and it's really not easy teaching a skill online, but we are trying at PTRI to migrate at least to like do a blended learning. In fact, on I think next month, February, we'll be starting with the conduct of weaving, particularly on pattern drafting. So just stay tuned. We will be posting some information if we are already conducting the handloom weaving training. Of course, we have to also consider the safety of our participants and the trainers.
Okay. So, Ms. Bang, ito ang huling question now. What are available textile technologies that you can recommend to those people relieved of their jobs?
Okay. So, pang Miss Universe yata yung sagot ko. Actually, it should be it should actually start with your passion. Kumbaga, we can throw you a lot of technologies, 'di ba? Ang dami naming technologies na dinevelop sa PTRI. We have technologies on fiber production, yarn spinning, natural dyeing. But at the end of the day, what's your passion? What's your why? What do you want to do? And then we will be assisting you. And of course, you have to look at the resources. Kumbaga, ang pre-promote natin are natural textiles. And these ones, may kalakip yan na natural material, the raw material. So I think you have to check what's in your place, what are the available things, and then you can email us, and then we can actually advise you on what you can do. But again, of course, given that we want really to push natural textiles, the mainstreaming of natural textiles, if I can just promote a technology, it would be this.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bang, and good luck sa mga proyekto pa ng DOST-PTRI at sa mga ginagawa pa under your supervision. And at this point, mga kaibigan, we can only entertain the first 3 questions posted for our speaker. Again, please stand by after the end of our event. We'll be post details on how you can get in touch with us so that PTRI can answer all of your questions. And at this point, let us now learn more about PTRI's testing services and listen to what some entrepreneurs can say about PTRI services.
The DOST Philippine Textile Research Institute responds to the needs of the Philippine textile industry by providing efficient, cost-effective, and reliable testing services recognized and duly certified PNS ISO IEC 17025-2017 by the Philippine Accreditation Bureau. Republic Act No. 9242 or the Philippine Tropical Fabrics Law of 2004 prescribes the use of PTF for uniforms of public officials and employees and for other purposes. Philippine tropical fabrics is defined by the law to contain natural textile fibers produced, spun, woven or knitted and finished in the Philippines. To qualify as PTF, a fabric must contain at least 5% by weight of abaca, banana, and pineapple fibers and 15% by weight of silk. The DOST-PTRI testing laboratory is the only laboratory in the country capable of identifying and quantifying natural fibers like abaca, banana, pineapple, and silk present in the PTF through optical microimaging analysis and evaluation. Color fastness tests to laundering, perspiration, and rubbing are also done on the fabric to determine its change in color and staining.
Okay. Okay, we're having some another technical glitches. Anyway, we are down to our very last presentation, but one that is so important because this will be the basis of the DOST Peter Ice plan for natural textiles at least in the next 3 to 5 years. Fashioning the future of the Philippine textiles will be delivered by a registered who obtained his bachelor's and master's degrees in chemistry from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. He did his master's thesis on mechanochemical heterogeneous catalysis in Academia Sinica in Taipei, Taiwan, under the Mecoteco bilateral cooperation. He obtained his PhD in chemistry, nanoscience, and technology on the solid-state synthesis of inorganic luminescent materials from the National Taiwan University in Taipei under the Taiwan International Graduate Program, or TIGP. He is the Chief Science Research Specialist of the Research and Development Division of Philippine Textile Research Institute, Department of Science and Technology, where he has been within the last 18 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Julius Eliano Jr.
Hi, good afternoon, Jael. Hi, Jael, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay.
No.
Sure. I'll show my slide now. Okay, may I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is about the future. This is about fashioning the future of Philippine textiles. So let me just bring you back up to speed. So this is how we do it here, the textile manufacturing process. And the core part of this one is the generation of the yarn. So it's actually called the spinning process. And without the yarns, you cannot go into weaving and knitting. So it means when you have the yarns, then you have the fabrics. However, there's also another way. We go for non-woven processing. That's where you convert your materials to non-woven textiles. The thing that makes it very Filipino is our ability to create our own textile fibers from what we have in the Philippines and to be able to make it part of the value chain. So with all these materials plus finishing, here comes the other different additions of textiles that we know. Those that goes into our shoes, our nappies, our dresses, our bed covers, our hand woven textiles, etc., etc. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's a really wide range of applications that touches various facets of life, and textiles is just simply everywhere. So for in a particular case such as natural fibers, PTRI technology is actually about how do we convert a material that doesn't look like the one that could go into clothing into something that could actually be processed. So this is basically an overview of what material transformation happens with these fibers. Now, let me bring you now to what we have in store in the next few years. First, we have a fiber called bandala. This is actually an improved variety of Musa textilis or our abaka. Bandala is a textile material that we have found to be of a very interesting property compared, of course, to the natural abaka. Here we have worked with bandala in the last 3 to 4 years, and we now have an approved project under PICARD for the pilot scale verification of bandala. Now, the things that we'll have to do as we move forward is on extraction. This is how do we improve the productivity of extracting bandala fibers, the treatment process that goes into machine development that complements these activities in the ground, and of course the setting up of standards. Ano ba yung kinakailangan nating properties of this fiber that would actually be useful for textile application? Another one is on bamboo. This one has already been discussed earlier. The things that we need to do on bamboo is, of course, aside from its very community-based approach of commercialization and rollout, we're also still looking again of the ways by which we improve productivity of extraction, the way we treat it so that it could be rendered into this form, the machineries that would complement it, and again, the standards, which is very important for textiles, the standards that would govern the bamboo textile developments from the Philippines. Now, in the PTRI, we have two spinning systems. Sabi ko kanina, di ba, before you get into a yarn, there's a spinning system. So the spinning system, we have the one on cotton that is for the short staple, and we have a long staple spinning system. And you can see the diagram here, the innate property of the material. So if we have about 30% content, for it to run productively in the machine and get about 17 NE, this is the finest it could possibly get, you could do it about 30% composition of natural fiber in the short staple. However, if you want to push it higher than 30%, all the way to maybe 60, 70, even 80% composition, the way to go is to go to the long staple. And this process, this thing promises a lot of innovations that we have in the next few years on long staple processing using lyocell. We have mentioned it earlier. It works on this already. Silk will have to continue. Wool as a base material will be there. And of course, the very interesting properties of rami, giving us the first natural lignocellulosic material that is long staple, fine enough to be spun using this system. And where are these converging? They're actually converging to our aim to enable Republic Act 19242. This has been repeatedly discussed yesterday and today. And the aim now is that how do we improve the cost? How do we improve the comfort, and how do we improve the performance? And Protex is actually a huge program. It involves the protective, re-engineered occupational technical textiles apparels R&D program. So Protex was born during the height of the pandemic. And if you're familiar with our Rewear project, it's basically a Protex program. And here we use our own local materials, our developed technologies, which we have consolidated to be termed as smart text technologies, subject them to the appropriate standards, and come up with the material. And Protex is enabled at different fronts using different textile substrates as well. And one of that is the use of this exact same material for protective clothing in hospitals, for our barangay health workers, for example. How do we make these materials, protect beyond the physical protection? So if you want antimicrobial properties, yung barangay health worker, kawawa yan, araw-araw nasa arawan or initan. How do you want to make the comfort level higher? Maybe it's a more, a self-cooling material that could go into their fabrics. Yung mga nasa hospital naman is how could you make it more, for example, antiviral or antibacterial? And this is the direction of this project or this program. It is still bound by the same idea of using locally made fibers and materials, processed all made here in the Philippines. Now, this one is a slide of so many applications. If you look at it closely, these are all materials made of non-woven textiles. And non-woven textiles have hardly been discussed in the Philippines, at least not in the last, maybe not in the last year at least, because of the resurgence of the protective clothing thing. So non-woven applications can be for your clothing, footwear, it goes to filtration, goes to medical, protective clothing, even the wipes, yung mga wipes na kiklin natin ng mga kamay natin, and even the one that's used for our babies, for example, the incontinence pads, etc. These are all non-woven materials. And this is a hugely untapped aspect of Philippine textiles. So what we did was to propose, and this was already funded, and we're implementing it this year. We term it the diversification of Philippine textiles through non-woven innovations. If you see this logo, I hope you would be able to associate it with the non-woven interventions here in PTRI. And the first approach or entry point is actually the needle punching approach. This is a technique by which our local fibers, abaca, piña, banana, for example, are converted into this, randomly intercalated fibers that gives you, for example, the one that goes into your disinfecting mask. Maraming gumagamit ng ganyan. Pero pag naubos yan, saan mo dinadala? Wala, tatapon. But if these are all biodegradable, then you don't have problem about plastic waste. So this is one example. Another one is when you do the wet lay, then maybe the filter are also coming to the story. And the filtration technology, not only for water, but also for air, specifically from sa ating mga mask. You would imagine how our local fibers could now be used for this purpose. And then aside from that, it is a little bit, it's not necessarily a straightforward non-woven material, natural fiber textile, pero pwede natin siyang lagyan because the raw materials will still come from maybe agricultural byproducts, maybe hugely also still our lignocellulosic materials. And this is what we call the spun-laid non-wovens. Ito yung pumupunta sa ating mga single-use face mask, yung mga gamit natin for our eco bags, yung mga ganun. We want to localize it here by using either recycled plastic or agricultural byproducts, including natural textile fibers, a source of biopolymers, which leads me to the program on textile biopolymers. So, ibig sabihin ba, intervention natin, puro na lang tayo tagagawa? Hindi. We will now also be venturing into the development of our own materials locally through the development of biopolymers from different agricultural byproducts. One of them, for example, is corn. Region 2 is very well known for their corn industry, and the byproducts could hardly go anywhere. And this is one of the ways by which we improve and infuse value addition for the corn industry. The silk, for example, will also be regenerated, giving you also some very interesting materials, not really for wearables. Hindi lang po for wearables yan, but for many specialized textile applications. So this is also one thing that we need to watch out for. This year, we're also fortunate, we are moving out. Sabi nga, hindi na tayo lang wearable. We now have a program called Constructions and Buildings using indigenous, locally developed natural textiles. This is the natural textile fiber-based innovations for green and smart structural applications. Anong ginagawa dito? Una, yung building natin, dalawang side yan, di ba? The inside and the outside. Yung outside niya, you want the structure. And you want to use local materials for that, local natural fibers for that. Ano ang advantage natin? The advantage is what we call free form. Hindi tayo makagawa ng shape, mga curvilinear structures, because very rigid. Usually, ang ginagamit nating steel reinforcement. How about using local natural textile materials for this purpose. And then we can achieve free-form structures, the expression of artistry in our buildings would even be supported. And doon naman sa loob, we go for the smart installations, yung mga acoustic absorption, thermal insulations, even the light diffusion, etc. Even electromagnetic shielding could actually also be infused into our structures now using local natural fibers. And we are doing this program exactly this year. We are also have started the natural textiles in textile conservation because we have developed our own version of the Belgian linen. Ang ginagamit kasi sa mga museum ngayon is an imported material to support the restoration of paintings. And through a project that we completed last year with the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, we were able to prove that yung ating cotton pineapple blend can actually be used as a support material for the restoration of historically relevant artifacts. And we are pushing textile conservation in a lot of fronts, and this is something that we also will sustain in the next few more years. Last, another one is on biomedical applications. So yung fibers po natin, hindi na naman yan wearable, sabi ko nga. It can also go to the nanoscale. And when you go to the nanoscale, you have a lot of applications. And one entry point is biomedical, particularly in wound healing. So we have infused, last year, we have already completed a study in infusing this drug, chlorhexidine, on electrospun cellulose acetate, and was able to prove that it actually facilitates wound healing. This is done on an animal model, of course, compliant with the different standards, and was able to show and demonstrate that yes, we can actually do it here in the Philippines in partnership, of course, with legitimate laboratories who are compliant to the animal safety and bioethics policies in the country. So this is also one very interesting thing that we're pushing in the next few years. Now, hindi lang siya about wound healing. How about in other, dun sa mga iba namang aspects of life? This one is the Philippine Combat Text program. We also have pitched this to be shared. This is the Philippine Camouflage Optical, Mechanical, Ballistic, and Armored Textiles R&D. So ibig sabihin sa title pa lang, alam na natin saan siya pupunta. It's supportive of the human security, national security efforts. Ang tanong dito is, we can actually also produce a version of a bamboo and banana-based functional Philippine camouflage using the technologies that we have in PTRI. So ang dami nating mga, for example, mga army camps, maraming bamboos usually nakasama na nandun sa within their locations. These are all potential sources of fibers. So how better, di ba, that our own can already make their own fibers, tapos in a few transformation, suot na nila as their own uniform. And capturing this also, I think, will boost the morale and the pride of our security forces in trying to also defend us from internal and external threats. So this is the Philippine Combat Text program. And then another one, very interesting, the creative industry. This is a working title. I hope it will be carried, but still a work in progress. We call it sapatos. It's a shoes and footwear accessories R&D towards a textile-based omnibus solution for the Philippine shoe industry. So maganda ito in the sense that it's a multi-sectoral approach. One, we are looking at the fit. Yung fit ba ng sapatos na galing sa ibang bansa ay yung ba talaga yung sapatos, yung ba yung talaga ang hulma ng paa ng Pilipino? Second, comfort. Anong comfort requirements ng Pinoy? Maybe different age level, maybe different professions, etc. And then third is aesthetics. Kaya ba natin gamitin yung mga local developments natin for this one? So papasok na dyan yung mga woven textiles, papasok na yung non-woven textiles for the cushioning. And then of course, the fourth one is the development still of 3D knitted fabrics that really goes well with shoes. And pag tinignan natin pag sapatos, hindi lang to po aesthetic. It's not just about yung parang papugi and pagandahan. Look at it from the vantage point of those who are challenged to walk, for example. Those have disabilities, maybe those have difficulties, kahit difficulties na lang in trying to sustain standing or walking. The footwear is as vital as maybe your protective wear in trying to abate or prevent further damage to maybe your back or maybe your whole posture. So this is the battle cry of this program. It is proposed under the creative industry's call for proposal, but nevertheless it is science-based and it will be a science touching the lives of the people. Now, how do we make this all realistic? Wala tayong raw material, hindi pwedeng sa bikutan lang yan lahat gumagawa. We have embarked as part of the General Banner Program some regional acceleration approaches. This is about our textile fiber hubs, bamboo hubs, weaving centers, SEDA Philippines, and the regional yarn production centers. So ito, pinapakita po nito from our perspective where the textile fiber innovation hubs can and will be located from Apayao all the way to Davao del Norte at different time frames in the next 5 years. And then we also have, and this one is supported by our technologies in the transformation of the fibers to a cottonized version of it, so that we will be able to make yarns and fabrics. Aside from that, we also have identified locations of the bamboo textile fiber innovation hubs. Dito rin naman tayo maglo-locate in order for us to, generate amount of bamboo textile fibers that will also fuel developments in terms of bamboo textile yarn spinning and weaving and knitting applications. And the core of this one is that bamboo is really a very interesting material. Alam niyo po, ang kanyang fiber recovery is actually 35%. And if you compare it to the other fibers that we're using, ang pinya is about 1%, ang abaca is nasa 1.5%. They don't even cross the 2%, 3% level. And here we have bamboo, which is giving a 35% fiber recovery. So it's very interesting material just as well, very high productivity. And we have located it from Abra all the way to Bukidnon. Now, pag meron ka ng fiber, ano namang mangyayari? Sa Manila ba lahat yan gagawin? The director already mentioned this model earlier, and we also have located this one. The first RIPIC has already been inaugurated in Negros Occidental, in Miagao, and we are planning to, we are now have mapped some of the initiatives. And as you can see here, we are looking at one possible RIPIC in Isabela, another maybe nearby Manila, then another one in the Visayas, and one in Mindanao. And these are based on a general platform by which we could actually locate hubs in proximity with each other. So this is a picture of the facility in Iloilo as shown. So this is now the regional yarns innovation system, where you have the source of bamboo, the natural textile fibers, and the RIPICs happening on various synaptic regions or synaptic centers, if you want to call it, at various locations all over the Philippines. And also complementing, sige, may sinulid ka na, how do you make naman the sinulid, beneficial to the community? Here we have the handloom weaving innovation centers, which is also part of the criteria in creating these ecosystems. And handloom weaving centers have been mapped out. Interventions were given to them, and we have also identified for the next, I think this is until about 6 to 7 years, the locations of additional handloom weaving innovation centers from Mountain Province in the Cordillera all the way to Zamboanga. Ms. Lopez mentioned earlier about SEDA Philippines, and we're sustaining the efforts on Philippine silk as well in the next few years. Ang R&D part nito naman po is continuous yung ating genomic characterization, because we want to guide and be able to improve the productivity of silkworm rearing. Hindi dahil alam, ay ito dati mahaba to ang sinulid niya, marami siyang output. No, we want it to be based on science, so that we will be guided by the climate, the management condition, and the exact same genomic characteristic of the silkworm in various locations in the country, and be able to direct breeding and rearing of silkworms in a very scientific, directed, and productive manner. So this is our intervention on silk. Aside, of course, for our efforts, our relentless efforts for mulberry plantations in support of the rearing activities, and the location of our silk processing facilities in Car, in the Visayas, and of course the Silk Innovation Center of PTRI, which is now located in Mindanao. It's located in Mindanao. We would want to term the TCMO to be now the nerve center of the silk innovations of PTRI. So ito po yung ating mga output from the silk project. The two rearing facilities will be up in Kalinga State University and in Northern Mindanao, in Northern Mindanao very soon. Infrastructures are also upgraded. A throwing facility, this is where you make thicker silk yarns, is already in Bago City, Negros Occidental. We have profiled 17 of our 80 plus silkworm silkworm breeds, and these different hectareages that you already have here. So it supports the entire silk innovation and silk R&D in the coming years. And if you look at them all superimposed, ang nanagdag lang dito is yung colorful flower. This is the natural dyes. It complements, and you would see here a very colorful map. And we want this map to be as colorful as possible. The director also mentioned, Jel, background mo yung mapa ng Pilipinas. That's exactly the very figurative, siguro, very figurative way of saying that we are all over the Philippines. Or maybe sabihin natin, we have placed you in the map. So we want that PTRI presence can be felt in all provinces all over the Philippines, signified by how colorful these provinces are colored in this map as part of our innovation mapping efforts. So these are just some of the details, yung timelines po, meaning these are already laid out. We are just, ang kulang na lang dito talaga ay pera. Pag may pera to, go na talaga to. So hopefully we get also the support from various fronts in order for us to realize this grand vision of making textiles even more beneficial from north to the south, from east to west. All over the country. Bang also mentioned earlier the different collaboration modalities. Kaya ba ng PTRI yan? Hindi po. At ayoko magpanggap na kaya namin. We're just also a very shallow. Shallow means like mas mababaw pa po namin. We are a handful of researchers and technicians here. We have different modalities by how we generate new knowledge. Contract research, Bang mentioned about that. We also have a joint research undertaking. Ano yung mga JRUs? These are also companies, sometimes it's our SMEs who want to develop something collaboratively with us. Hindi yung kami lang yung gagawa. May ginagawa sila, may ginagawa kami. And a good example of a JRU is when we assist the thesis students, especially yung nasa mga BS level, master's degree level. I think we even have assisted already a PhD level. This is under the joint research undertaking. We generate new knowledge, we allow people to graduate, and we are part as well in the development of the human resource. The on-the-job training is open. I don't know itong issue ng pandemic because you have to be physically here. Hopefully it will be okay very soon. But we also have the OJT program, very intense training here. I would bet na lahat ng po ng na-train ng PTRI under the OJT program have landed in very significant positions in government and in the private sector, and a lot of them are actually testament to the rigor of the training under the OJT program. Hindi kami nagpapagraduate ng umuupo lang maghapon. So as a matter of fact, yung aming po technology transfer officer, if you know Angel is one of our OJTs, and he is actually now is already part of the institute. So this is a testament to the OJT program and system of PTRI. And lastly, I'd just like to pitch this to you. This is still a work in progress, being pitched as the regional textile R&D consortia. It cannot be done by PTRI. It will definitely have to be done with the DOST and with the very elaborate and very successful consortia of our sectoral planning councils, PICARD in particular, and PSHERD, because textiles is cutting across PICARD and PSHERD domains. And we hope that we will be able to provide a thematic direction, at least, and help the consortia be able to align their textile initiatives to the textile R&D and innovation platforms and innovation direction of the PTRI. These are just some of the so many collaborations that we have. We hope to make this even more robust and even be more colorful in the next few years, because the idea is really to go more inclusive, more collaborative, not only with government, the academe, the higher education institutions, but also more importantly with the private sector. So I just will close this presentation by saying and by telling you that this is a slide that I always use. But I think it's a powerful one because it shows how science, technology, and innovation actually fuels development and generation of new materials and knowledge. But just the same, in the Philippines, art component, the artistic component, the cultural component, and the environmental dimension are also parts of the whole ecosystem by which Philippine natural textiles are developed, by which they are actually rolled out into the provinces, by which it creates value to the communities. Bakit hindi gumagalaw yung culture? But anyway, it should be moving. And with that, we would want to say that really it's about convergence, and the convergence is the way to go on to the future, and with the future of Philippine natural textiles hinged on the convergence of institutions, of the confluence of philosophies towards the creation of new materials, and by protecting as well the environment. So with that, I thank you very much for listening and for giving us your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Julius. Actually, talaga, your presentation is truly exciting, and the prospects of establishing these facilities in the regions in a strategic and innovative manner is something I think everyone will look forward to. Dr. Julius, I think this time now we can accommodate some questions from our live audience. Ready ka na ba sa mga tanong?
Go.
Ayan. If there are a number of us interested to use local and natural materials in our products, but does not have the financial capacity to set up a textile facility, how do we compel our LGU to participate? Can we invite PTRI to teach to our LGU?
Sure, pitch is we do pitches every day. Yes, pitching is actually part of the way by which we actually propagate, or make Philippine textiles known. So a lot of people cannot realize yung value because they do not understand, they do not know. If you have listened to how Ching mentioned yung kanina about silk, you would see how tremendously transformative it is. So if what you need is just ask to present to your LGUs for as long as, hindi naman siguro is still within the health protocol framework, then I think we can do that. The virtual platform has allowed us to do that, and we have our technology transfer officers who would also assist us, and of course the researchers. If you want more detailed and technical pitching, then definitely we will be able to help, and that would be maybe a step towards realizing your goal in involving your LGUs in this endeavor.
All right. So next question, sir. Can provinces not identified in the map still establish their own textile facilities? What is the first step to make?
Oh, can they? Of course, they. And saan tanong niya?
Provinces.
If you establish it, of course, they can. Siyempre, kahit wala ka sa mapa na yun, if you have what it takes to establish one, I think, of course, you can still establish one. Ang tanong usually dyan, is not kung if you may, can you establish one? Because it really has something to do about investment. Medyo may kamahalan po ito. Hindi po ito pwedeng parang dalawang choknat lang. So medyo mayroon siyang value. That's why it needs some real thinking and pondering dun sa direction na yun. So kung tama, if you may, definitely you may. If you have the funds, if you have the technical direction, we do not want to pretend na nasa amin lang yun, but in the Philippines, we would want to believe na we hope you could align it to our programs such that complementary naman tayo. And takbuhan, we need to position PTRI as a central facility or central or core facility for providing solutions to the industry. And if you need us, no problem. We will be able to map that out. Ang talagang problema natin dito, Jel, is hopefully nga lahat parang one town, one project kung kaya, pero problema is wala talaga siyang the funding. If the funding is there, I think it would be, you're already halfway close to your goal. So yes, definitely the map is, it was just how we look at it. If you have the initiative from within, then go tayo dyan, support tayo dyan.
Speaking of fund, sir, what are the funding possibilities from PTRI or DOST?
From PTRI, unfortunately, wala. Kasi hindi kami funding agency. Ang mafa-fund namin dyan is dasal at saka suporta. Kasi dyan kami malakas. We will give you the technical support to an extent that we could possibly are allowed by law to provide. All the experiences that we have had in the past, those are part of the interventions that we provide. So hindi lang ito about, saan mo bibilin yung makina, mag-anong specification niya. Those are part, that's the technical part. But the experiences that PTRI has gained over the past few years, establishing facilities, etc. The contacts, these are part of, the interventions that we could provide. The DOST, we also have to manage that. If you're looking at from pag DOST kasi, it's dapat ang approach natin dyan is developmental and innovation based. So as we said, we have laid out yung ating regional approaches towards these different facilities. If they are anchored into that, I think it's layered within. If it is within the DOST, it will be inevitable that PTRI will be part of the picture. There are so many other funding opportunities within the government, and I think they are, of course, very accessible to the private sector. Ang tanong na lang talaga dyan is, can you really assure that you can really operate it and sustain it? So if you can assure that, bakit hindi? So ang atin lang, I will not speak for the other government agencies, but PTRI, is here and will be very supportive of any initiative towards supporting regional interventions as far as textiles are concerned.
Okay. So, eto sir, next question from our Zoom attendee. Sabi niya, I once bought a few meters of abaka and pinya textile and really liked it. And now thinking of a project in the future. Hope I can be able to make it. Are you also planning to sell banana or bamboo textile in retail? I believe it is a good way for us to know that we have these kinds of tela. And for us, as aspiring social entrepreneur who cannot afford bulk orders as of the moment, we will be able to try these items for possible projects or investments.
Very interesting question. Kung ang tanong is, can we sell as as like a divisoria type of thing or tie-tie? No, we cannot. We are not. Hindi ka po kami fabric house. But alam mo, in being very innovative about all these approaches, we feel yung ganyang classic, exactly the same predicament. Yung kailangan niya ng 5 yards pero hindi naman niya kayang bumili ng 10,000 metro, for example, which is actually the normal production in a commercial run. So these are things that we have already extended ourselves to, and through our ready-to-buy project that has been implemented last year, meron ng sizable amount of fabrics that could be given to entrepreneurs like them to be able to try, for example, develop on that, move from there. And this enabling mechanism, I hope, will be very transformative. So that system is already in place. So if there are a lot of fabrics or maybe yarns or even dyes that you want to try out, get in touch with PTRI through the team of Bang, and they will be able to guide you in availing of those. That's exactly the purpose of the RTB program. So yes.
That's it. Thank you so much, Dr. Julius Leaño Jr. I know that you have more burning questions to Dr. Leaño. However, we do not have enough time to accommodate all of you at this time. But promise, you are free to drop naman your inquiries to the official social media accounts of DOST-PTRI, or you may email them directly through PTRI's official website. And now I think we are ready to show you the two social enterprises who work with PTRI and availed of PTRI services to develop their ideas into products. Let us all watch this video.
Hello everyone, this is Adrian Sherwell, the founder and creative director of Amenities, a local slow fashion brand. We are also a social cultural enterprise that promotes Philippine traditions and craftsmanship combined with universal heritage. We also partner with local artisans, which enables us to empower and uplift their communities. So with sustainability at the heart of the brand.
Hello everyone, this is Adrian Sherwell, the founder and creative director of Amenities, a local slow fashion brand. We are also a social cultural enterprise that promotes Philippine traditions and craftsmanship combined with universal heritage. We also partner with local artisans, which enables us to empower and uplift our communities. So with sustainability at the heart of the brand, we focus on sustainable resources and methods. So being a Filipina, I always wanted to know more about our heritage and go back to my roots, especially after my studies abroad. Our country is so rich in natural resources and beautiful traditions, so I always knew I wanted to incorporate these to my creations. Also, a big influence is that I've adapted a sustainable lifestyle personally, so it was just natural for me to adapt this to the creative vision of the brand. And another big inspiration is the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, which is finding beauty in imperfection and uncertainty. So I really like things that are more raw, that are organic, or as it is. I'm also deeply passionate about garments or textiles that are made, painted, dyed, and embroidered by hand or woven by hand, because it brings me back to a time where making clothes or making textiles was just a way of life, and it was also a sacred art. So there's just something about handcrafted items. It has a certain charm and a certain character that I'm really, really in love with. So that's why I've been drawn to the Philippine natural fibers and textiles.
So we
recently launched is on the Kisses collection, which focuses on our in-house development sets. So in that collection, it's more earthy and more organic. We also feature a textile developed by PTRI as well as our own textiles, of course. So what we do is we normally have our artisans weave our textiles and then we hand dye them with natural dyes at the atelier. So for example, we have this one, which is our kimono. The textile is actually a pineapple cotton blend, which is hand-woven by our artisans. And this is also pure Philippine silk, hand-woven as well, and hand-dyed. Then we have this pineapple cotton textile developed by PTRI. And then, of course, we hand-paint them at the atelier. So by developing our own textiles through weaving and through painting or dyeing them, then we really develop unique textiles, which makes our pieces one of a kind. So DOST-PTRI has been helpful to me since 2018 when I reached out to them. I wanted to know more about natural dyes and our natural textiles. I've also attended their TELA conference and I always learn more and come out even more excited to work with our tropical fabrics. They've also invited me to events relevant to my creative vision and they've put me in touch with the right people and artisans to bring my ideas into reality. So it's been very exciting that we are able to create our own textiles using our local fibers through the help of PTRI.
Hello everyone, I'm Mike Clapros of Creative Definitions and I'm here to tell about our story and our partnership with the Philippine Textile Research Institute. Creative Definitions started way back in 2008 when my wife and I set up a company to market Negros-made handicrafts here in Metro Manila. But in 2017, we made a major shift. We became more of a social enterprise, supporting communities of weavers in the Negros Island. If you ask us why we did that, because we were looking for a business model which we felt should create more meaningful impact in the countryside, especially when it comes to income generation. And right now we're supporting 4 weaving communities. 2 are located in Kabangkalan, another one in Valladolid. All 3 of those are in Negros Occidental. And the most recent partnership we came up is with the Bakong Weavers of Negros Oriental. So our long-term goal really is to establish a sustainable business model by adopting certain practices such as the use of natural materials. We do not use synthetics such as polyester, and I'm proud to say that we're one of the few companies, and together with our partner weaving communities, to use 100% cotton in all our hand weaves. And later on, we are exploring other fibers as well. We also practice fair trade because we feel that weavers should be paid adequately and commensurately. We also practice ethical marketing because we feel that especially with the hand weaving industry, truth and transparency when it comes to sourcing of materials and fabrics, of course, is quite important, especially when we deal with our customers. Another important area, of course, is innovation, because our company is always in a continuous search for new materials and production techniques. With the whole idea to come up with more innovative textiles. And lastly, let us not forget that preserving the cultural heritage of the weaving communities we work with has to be protected. And of course, we have to consider the environmental influences. So if you ask us why did we venture in the use of Philippine natural textiles, well, putting it simply, it's the way to go. Based from our foreign trips and travels and research, with the issues on global warming and climate change, the demand for sustainable materials is ever increasing. And let's not forget, the Philippines is gifted with so many fibers, at least 30 of them. On our latest developments right now, we are learning to process pineapple. If you look at this pineapple fruit, we're trying to convert the crown or the leaves into something like this, and eventually into yarns, which will be hand woven into fabrics. And one of our projects right now we're doing is to develop this sustainable sneakers. If you notice, the uppers are all made out of pineapple cotton fabrics, and the rubber is farmed in Mindanao, so it's probably 100% Filipino made. Stay tuned, because we'll be launching this very soon. Our appreciation with TELA is, well, the list is so long, but to sum things up, really is they provided us with the technical know-how, with a lot of technical know-how and inputs, and of course they also provided us with the fundamentals and the tools that would allow us for better decision making in our long-term strategy on sustainability. So our future plans, well, as I mentioned earlier, we would like to explore other sources of fibers and make them something wearable on a daily basis. And also we'd like to adopt other textile technologies such as the water repellents, which can be applied on certain fabrics. And for the weavers, of course, is continuous development, that they become more competent and more, let's say, increase their knowledge in terms of the design and quality, of course. And that's all for now, and that sums it up all. I mean, I'm very happy with our partnership with the PTRI, and I hope this goes on in the long term. Thank you.
The DOST Philippine Textile Research Institute responds to the needs of the Philippine textile industry by providing efficient, cost-effective, and reliable testing services recognized and duly certified PNS ISO IEC 17025-2017 by the Philippine Accreditation Bureau. Republic Act No. 9242, or the Philippine Tropical Fabrics Law of 2004, prescribes the use of PTF for uniforms of public officials and employees and for other purposes. Philippine tropical fabrics is defined by the law to contain natural textile fibers produced, spun, woven or knitted and finished in the Philippines. To qualify as PTF, a fabric must contain at least 5% by weight of abaca, banana, and pineapple fibers and 15% by weight of silk. The DOST-PTRI testing laboratory is the only laboratory in the country capable of identifying and quantifying natural fibers like abaca, banana, pineapple, and silk present in the PTF through optical microimaging analysis and evaluation. Color fastness tests to laundering, perspiration, and rubbing are also done on the fabric to determine its change in color and staining. DOST-PTRI also offers tests for natural fibers that are intended for textile applications, such as analysis of cellulose, lignin, residual gum, solvent extractives, and moisture contents. Common mechanical tests are fabric count, fabric weight, pulling resistance, breaking strength, and dimensional change. These tests are carried out in accordance to PNS ISO standards and international standard methods like ISO, ASTM, and AATCC. Fabric count is the number of yarns or threads in the fabric per unit length. Fabric weight or mass per unit area is also determined as it may influence the suitability, durability, and cost. Pilling resistance is the resistance of the fabric to the formation of pills or balls of threads on its surface due to wash and wear. Breaking strength is the force supported by a specimen until rupture, expressed in kilogram force or newton. Dimensional change is the change in the length and width of a fabric, such as shrinkage or elongation. True to its commitment to serve the Philippine textile industry, the DOST-PTRI testing laboratory continues to evolve and adapt to the needs of its clients. For more than 10 years now, it has remained the only third-party testing laboratory in the country to offer internationally accredited tests for geotextiles. And this year, the Philippines' first and only medical textile testing center will soon serve the public as we gear up to a more resilient and competitive Philippine textiles. For more information on how to avail DOST-PTRI's testing services, please visit our website at www.ptri.dost.gov.ph or follow our Facebook account, DOST-PTRI.
Muli po, maraming salamat sa ating mga resource speakers. Truly, the works that the PTRI have accomplished in natural textiles were amazing, but more importantly, is the noble intention behind the Natural Textiles program is indeed laudable. Regional and community participation is indeed a key factor to attain sustained and impactful industry. And to help UST-PTRI realize their onward plan is the Executive Director of the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development, or DOST-PTRI. He leads the Philippine National Agriculture and Resource System in the formulation of framework, trusts, and the programs for the development of the agriculture, aquatic, and natural resources sectors, as well as the generation and allocation of funds for this purpose. Please welcome Dr. Reynaldo V. Ebora.
Good afternoon. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Magandang hapon po. Good afternoon to all the participants, guests, and organizers of this Natural Textile Virtual Presser in celebration of the Philippine Tropical Fabrics Month and the Philippine Textile Research Institute 54th anniversary. The Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development of the Department of Science and Technology, or DOST-PTRI, commends PTRI for holding this activity, which aims to showcase the various R&D accomplishments and opportunities in our local natural fibers and fabrics. I hope that through this virtual presser, our friends from the media and the general public were able to have a better appreciation of why we are keenly promoting and fashioning the Philippine textile. We are fortunate to have PTRI in the forefront of conducting applied R&D for the textile industry sector and its allied industries. PTRI is largely involved in producing fabrics and wearables and is taking advantage of emerging technologies to develop products that can compete globally. It has also been successfully engaging in initiatives that aim to contribute in addressing the needs of the Filipinos, most especially in this time of COVID-19 pandemic. As a potent and a reliable member of DOST-PTRI's R&D network, PTRI has been partnering with us in pursuing our industry goals, which are outlined in our Industry Strategic S&T programs, or ISPs. We have a long history of collaboration, most notably in the implementation of S&T-based initiatives on natural fibers, particularly on abaca, bamboo, and pineapple. Most recently, we have packaged a proposal on using the PTRI technology on protective re-engineered occupational technical textiles, or PROTEX, in producing protective wearables which are very applicable in the new normal. It is with great honor to be part of this activity, not only realizing the potential of the natural fibers turned into fabrics, but also in recognizing the skills of our handloom weavers and people in the textile and fashion industry. I wish PTRI more success in the years ahead. Again, congratulations to PTRI on its 54th anniversary. At sama-sama po nating paunlarin ang industriya ng tela at hibla ng Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, ED Ray.
Thank you so much, Executive Director Reynaldo Ebora. Of course, the cooperation and partnership with DOST-PTRI to push forward natural fibers R&D is something we will all look forward to. Of course, this event will not be complete without hearing from our very own and former OIC of the Philippine Textile Research Institute. It is with my pleasure that I welcome and introduce the DOST Undersecretary for Research and Development, USEC Rowena Cristina L. Guevara.
Secretary Fortunato T. de la Peña, our S&T champion in the Senate, Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy Sobilio Binay, Antique Representative and House Deputy Speaker Lauren B. Lagarda, DOST-PTRI Director Celia Alumba, Picard Executive Director Dr. Reynaldo Ebora, Ms. Cheryl Lopez, Dr. Julius Leaño, Ms. Evangeline Manalang, our friends from media, mga kasamahan ko sa DOST, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. First, I would like to greet PTRI a happy 54th anniversary. I've seen for myself for many years the resilience, tenacity, and spirit that thrives within DOST-PTRI, especially now that we are in the midst of our fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. I've seen how DOST-PTRI has strongly faced the adversities last year and continue to tackle the challenges of the new normal, a state of constant change and unpredictability. This year, DOST-PTRI's activities in celebration of the Philippine Tropical Fabrics Month have been done online and through today's natural textile virtual presser. DOST-PTRI was able to communicate or reach out to our friends from the media and our PTF stakeholders who need information and inspiration amid the pandemic. Today's virtual presser, aptly Fashioning Philippine Textiles, showcased Philippine natural textiles and how R&D will help accomplish our national socio-economic agenda for science, technology, and the creative economy. Cognizant of the needs of the local textile industry, DOST has supported the validation of PTF technologies through several projects aimed at assuring the technical viability for its use as corporate wear or uniform for offices. Through DOST-PTRI's advocacy, Philippine Tropical Fabrics, or PTF, has been used in the past as a uniform of DOST employees. DOST has also firmly supported DOST-PTRI's goal to revitalize Philippine textiles by enabling it to process yarns of natural textile fibers at a scale that is development appropriate. Too small for industrial spinning mills, but not too small to provide better value for a local handloom weaving community. Our target is our weaving communities rather than large companies. We see that yarns that contain pineapple leaf, banana, or abaca, among others, are not just textile fiber inputs to textile production, but as catalysts in the revitalization of a textile industry towards an inclusive, creative, and sustainable textile economy. The DOST-PTRI took a bold and pivotal step through the establishment of the Regional Yarn Production and Innovation Center, or RYPIC. This is in Macau, Iloilo. Our imagination is that in the future, we will have what's called the Iloilo, for lack of a branded term, natural textile fiber blends that have been produced enough to supply the uniform needs of several departments in the regional or local government. Also, perhaps not known to many, is that the Philippine silk is also part of the PTF. I commend DOST-PTRI for taking the lead to revitalize Philippine silk in a holistic, innovative manner. The largest and most productive silk germplasm in the country is PTRI's Technology Center in Misamis Oriental. In the Cordilleras, the pure lines have been endorsed and conserved through a mutual appreciation with DOST-CAR. Now, DOST-PTRI expands the silk industry through its robust genetic resource, multiple collaborations, their strength in silk processing and product development, and in silk testing and evaluation. We always look forward to expanding our pilot PTF or natural fibers utilization projects and programs on a wider scale. Let me tell you this, scaling cannot be done by PTRI without its partners. Thank you so much for your partnership with DOST-PTRI. Today, we've heard their testimonials. Your messages not only inspired us, but also help inform and inspire other researchers and entrepreneurs to establish or improve their products through science and technology. I trust that DOST-PTRI will continue to take the lead to integrate PTF players and harmonize efforts to remain committed to the continuous development of our Philippine natural textiles. Maraming salamat po at magandang arham sa inyong lahat.
Thank you so much po, Yusek Rowena Cristina L. Guevara. Maraming salamat sa mensaheng ipinaabot niyo po sa amin at sa kabuuan ng DOST-PTRI. And of course, we'd like to thank everyone here on site and virtually through our live streaming channels. This live presser event will be posted on DOST-PTRI's official Facebook account. And we hope that you will share it with friends and colleagues who are not here, and who you believe will benefit from the information presented today. And of course, we would like to thank Director Celia B. Alumba. Maraming salamat, Ma. And to all the DOST-PTRI employees, again, happy 54th founding anniversary po sa inyong lahat. Congratulations. Ayan, palakpakan naman natin yan. Sana pumapalakpak kayo kahit na virtual lang, di ba? Ayan, ang dami namin dito. Ay, ako, kung nakikita nyo lang, sobra-sobra ang support ng lahat sa DOST-PTRI. Siyempre, 54th founding anniversary, marami man challenges sa pinagdadaanan natin, pero mas magandang harapin natin yung mga pagsubok na ito ng may matatag at matibay na pag-asa para anumang hamon dumating sa ating buhay, handa natin itong malampasan. Again, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, and we hope to see you again next year. Yan na, sa 2022 TELA event. This has been your host, Jel Miranda from DOST-TV. Thank you, everyone. God bless us all.
Thank you, Director E.D. Ray. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Ray. Thank you so much. God bless everyone. Take care.
Thank you.